All right. Today I am going to speaking to all of you women who are eating salads, drinking smoothies, doing all the right things, but you're still gaining weight and you're feeling kind of crappy. There is a reason for this, and I'm going to help explain why and what you can do about this. So welcome. My name is Angela Warburton. I am an Eastern medicine practitioner. Over 25 years of experience working with women in the clinic. I use lifestyle medicine, nutritional therapy, herbal medicine, acupuncture to help bring balance back to the body. And my sole focus right now is helping midlife women, perimenopausal, menopausal women uh, transition this time through this time with more tools, understanding, helping you understand your body, what the symptoms mean, and most importantly, what you can do about it, because this is a powerful time of your life. And there is so much that you can do to both understand and heal and thrive and enjoy this time because there's a lot of wisdom here. So welcome. So yes, all of you who seem to put on weight, no matter what you eat, you might notice that cellulite just came in and set up camp overnight, and you're like, what just happened to my body? And no matter what you do, you're trying to do the right things. You're eating salads, you're doing smoothies, you're doing green juices, but you just feel worse, nothing's budging, and you might feel like you're even almost putting on weight. So let's talk about why that is. So in Eastern medicine, we look at the ecosystem of you. So your body is talking through multiple signs and different symptoms, and there's an answer for everything. And what we're always seeking to do is find the root cause of what's going on, the root. So if we use a tree analogy, if you've got something going on with the leaves, you want to treat the root versus just individually treat the leaves. And when we treat the root, that all these various symptoms will get better because they're all part of the same pattern. Hopefully that made sense. And so we look at these patterns in the body, and this applies to menopause too, because if you've probably noticed, no two women go through menopause the same way. Some people are hot, some people are tired, some people are anxious, some people can't sleep, some people put on weight, some people lose weight. So there's no one answer, and that can be frustrating because we tend to talk about menopause in one, like sort of a one shot, one size fits all, and that's not the case at all. And really menopause, there is a transition, but I'm just going to tell you, it can feel good and it can feel fine and normal, and or just you'll shift, but you're not going to have any radical symptoms. So if we think of this balance where some people, everyone's a little different. If you're someone who's putting on weight, you're bloated all the time, you feel heavy, you might have more cellulite, you might, some of the symptoms you might see around this, you don't have to have all of them, but you might notice that your legs are swollen every time you take off your socks, you've got those sock lines. You might wake up multiple times in the night to pee. You might notice that you feel really, your skin's pale, so you might feel a little like washed out looking. If you look at your tongue, I'm going to do a video on how to like learn more about your symptoms through your tongue coming up, so stay tuned for that. But if your tongue is very pale, if you feel cold, maybe have cold feet, you might during menopause feel cold and hot, so it can be like, I don't understand what's going on. Also, you might feel bloating after you eat, lethargy, tired, congested, or have loose bowel movements. That's a sign can be all part of this pattern I'm going to talk about. In Chinese medicine, we talk about yin and yang. Yin is more of a cooling, moistening part of the system. It's more of something where you're related to the parasympathetic nervous system, estrogen, progesterone, where the yang system is more an active, heating, warming, has more to do with the more male hormones like testosterone, DHEA. It's more of the get you done hormone, where this is more like, hey, we're going to hang out and rest hormone or balance. And so when you're having more of these cold symptoms, we can say you're more of a deficient on the yang side, or I'll say a cold body pattern or body type. And so you're basically lacking some of the fire. And in particular, you're lacking the digestive fire. So if you think of your digestive system, and the digestive system is super important for healthy hormones. It's like a second part of making sure your hormones get into an active or a state in which your body can utilize it. So if you think of your stomach or digestive system like a pot on a stove, or a pot on a fire, you need some fire, some heat to heat up the pot so it can cook whatever's in there. And if we're putting in icy things, cold foods, raw foods in, it's kind of like you have this pot and you're trying to cook a soup, and you keep putting ice blocks into that soup. So if you keep putting ice blocks on, even if there's heat or you have it on like simmer, but it's like icy cold water, it's just never going to heat up and it's never actually going to cook and break down. And our stomach works the same way. Whatever we put into our stomach, it needs to be warmed up above body temperature and it needs to be turned into a soupy medium. And in this soupy medium, it then goes into the small intestine where our body can then discern, this is good for me, I'm going to absorb this, and this isn't good for me, I'm going to pass it on to the large intestine. And so if you're adding too much cold stuff in, your body's not efficiently breaking it down. You can get things like that bloating, lethargy, fatigue after you eat. It's not going through to your small intestine in the right form, and it'll go through your large intestine too fast, and that's where it might just move through you too fast and you get loose stools. So your body's not actually absorbing the nutrients and absorbing the goodness from the food. And if you do that long enough, you're not actually going to get energy and build your energy from that from the food that you're eating. And so it's really important to, if we want to look at balancing this out, instead of just having cold foods, which nothing wrong with salad, nothing's wrong with smoothies, but if your system can't handle it, you're actually going to throw it more off of balance when you eat them. So I had one woman, she was just exactly so many of the symptoms that I just mentioned. And she came in to see me and she was just like pulling her hair out, trying to understand what was going on because she was doing everything by the book, everything the world says out there that's good for you, smoothies, salads. And so when we're talking about food, and I came to asking about her, breakfast and lunch, and it, proudly said, at lunch I do a spinach salad every single day. And I explained to her, like, that's actually not the best thing for you because your body can't absorb it. And she looked at me and she said, thank God, I hate them. I hate them, but they're good for me. And so sometimes we do the things in our mind and what we hear is good. But when we listen to our body after we have them, we don't feel well. It's actually sending us up more off a balance. So hopefully that makes sense. So if this is you, what can you do? There are actually a lot of things that you can do to help bring this balance back. First thing, very logical. Eastern medicine is very logical. If you're cold, we want to warm you. So if you're cold and eating cold foods, just by warming up your foods, that will make a huge difference. Lightly cooking them, eating warm foods, warm in temperature, even taking them in the summer. So many people love fresh foods, making sure that they're you have something warm. And if you want a little bit of raw food, but I say like switch out your smoothie for a warm soup. So I'll put a link to my absolute favorite green soup recipe in the handouts. It's got so many things that are going to build and strengthen your digestion, but it's in the exact form that your body needs to break it down. A pureed, warm soup, your body's like, oh my God, this is so easy. I can do this. And so I also have recipes for warm smoothies, things that you're going to take it off that frozen raw. So you want to make sure you're doing that. That alone, particularly starting your day with warm cooked foods. If you think about it, if you've ever been camping and you have a fire, overnight, the fire is going to die down. You might have some embers. So in order to cook anything in the morning, you need to stoke that fire again. So when you eat warm cooked foods, warm cooked drinks in the morning, you're stoking that fire. So then you have a blazing fire by midday and you can actually digest things better. So just those little tweaks can make a huge difference. And then if you're really running on the cold side, you want to add more warming foods, warming spices. So we look at food not only having nutritional value, but also properties. A lot of this is very intuitive when you think of it. If you chew on a piece of ginger, it's naturally warming. You chew on some mint or like think of biting into watermelon. Watermelon is very cooling, very moistening. So if you have a lot of heat in your system, watermelon is going to be great. But if you have a lot of coolness or cold in your system, that watermelon is going to not feel great. So some of your warming spices, a lot of the more fall, winter vegetables, winter squash, beets, parsnip, mustard greens, kale, onions, leeks, chives, garlic, they're all warming. So having more of those in your diet is going to be really helpful. And just like adding some of those like warm cooked grains, quinoa, obviously you have to know your body, but quinoa, amaranth, rice, all really great to be adding in on a regular basis. Fruits tend to be more cooling. Say there are some fruits that naturally are more warming. So cherries, raspberries, they tend to have a more warming property to them. So There you go. That's a little bit of if you're cold, if you're not digesting well, if you're bloating, if you're, I'm going to do a whole thing on cellulite because it's common for women to have some, but if you're like increased crop of cellulite on your body and you're like this, where did this come from? There's a reason. We can say there's some, I'm going to do a video on that coming up too. So stay tuned for that. But hopefully this helps you understand your body. I have a understand your menopause body type course so you can understand more. I'm going to be doing more videos about that as well coming up. So if you like this video, please hit like. If you want more like this, please hit subscribe. I am providing more content every week because I'm here to help you thrive during midlife and understand your body. And if you know any other women who are suffering through midlife or menopause, please pass it along if you think it would be helpful for them. You do not have to suffer. And I'm here to help you every way I can. So thank you for being here. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day or evening. I will see you next time. Bye.